Our project is on Brown versus Board of Education and Charles Hughes by Ivan Ayon and Francesca Vargas. The people involved in the case were Oliver and Linda Brown and the Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas. Oliver Brown was an American welder and the plaintiff in the Supreme Court case of Brown versus Board of Education. He was born on August 19, 1918 and died June of 1961. Linda Brown was a campaigner for education equality. She was in the 3rd grade when the Supreme Court case started. She wanted to enroll in a summer school class in a Topeka, Kansas, all-white school, and they didn't allow her to enroll because of her skin color. Linda Brown was denied admission to a Topeka all-white public school in 1951, but the case started at the Supreme Court level in 1952. The case started on December 9, 1952, and went all the way up until May 17 of 1954. This case is what sparked the civil rights movement. The case originated in Topeka, Kansas. Sumner is where Linda wanted to go to school because it was close to her home, but she was denied admission because of her skin color. Linda Brown wanted to enroll in a school, but it was an all-white school in Topeka, Kansas. She was denied because of her skin color. Her father, Oliver Brown, sued the Board of Education in Topeka, Kansas, for inequality in education. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court, where it was ruled a unanimous decision in favor of the plaintiff. Oliver Brown said that his daughter being denied admission to school violated the 14th Amendment because the black schools were not equal to the white schools. The schools were allowed to be separate but equal, and he said this wasn't the case. It went against Equal Protection Clause, and each state can't deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. May 17, 1954, Chief Justice Earl Warren agreed that people were being deprived of the equal protection of the laws guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. The verdict did not specify how schools should desegregate people. Many schools in Kansas acted accordingly with the desegregation, but many schools and officials in the South completely ignored it. There was a unanimous decision for the court case. Even though this case didn't completely desegregate in schools, it did spark the civil rights movement. This case made a turning point in racial segregation because it was supposed to hold equal opportunity in education for all people. A year after this case, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white person, and she was arrested. This sparked people to boycott and stand up for desegregation once again.
Charles Hughes. His father, David Charles Hughes, was born an immigrant from England. His mother, Catherine Cornelia Hughes. Charles was born April 11, 1862, Glen Falls in New York, and died August 27, 1948, in Massachusetts.
Charles Hughes started reading at the age of 3, going to high school for 3 years, then graduating high school at the age of 13. He graduated from Brown, then went to Columbia Law School, and was ranked top of the class. Studying law for 13 years, he passed the New York bar examination in 1884, then joined the New York law firm. Having too much stress, he took time off from working, and during this time he was a professor at Cornell University Law School, and after 2 years, he returned to law for financial reasons.
President William Howard Taft appointed Hughes to the United States Supreme Court. In June 1916, Hughes left court to jump into contest in 1916 Republican nomination race. Former President Theodore Roosevelt couldn't attract enough support within the reunited party, and Republican leaders saw Hughes as a moderate who could compete with President Woodrow Wilson. Hughes led on 3 convention ballots and left the court on June 10th when he was nominated. After Hughes declined to run for president in 1920, newly elected President Warren Harding nominated Hughes as Secretary of State in 1921. Hughes directed the Washington Naval Confederate and helped establish a professional foreign service. Hughes generally ruled favorable on behalf of civil liberties, especially First Amendment freedom. Some cases he ruled were Neer versus Minnesota in 1931, striking down a Minnesota law against scandal sheets as an improper prior restraint on publications. Another court case, the Donje versus Oregon in 1937, he wrote the opinion voiding an Oregon law that would have prevented a Communist Party from forming and holding meetings.